How about it? David Irving, you were clutch on the defensive end, my man. How about them Cowboys? Now that is how you rebound 1 week after you had a brutal loss on the road, a divisional road game against a team that beat you in the beginning of the year. That was how you rebound. We beat, and let me give my props first to Tampa Bay. Okay, that is a good, well-coached, well-demeanored, all-around football team. That's a very good football team over there. Over there in Tampa Bay. They have a lot of good things going on out there in Tampa. And the one thing I was most surprised about was how well we stopped their star-studded players. Cameron Brate had a good day. 5 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. But the big one was Mike Evans. Mike Evans, and let me see here real quick. Give me a sec here. I'm trying to look up the numbers here. Mike Evans had 5 catches on 8 targets for only 49 yards. 49 or 59. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, he's not the first star-studded wide receiver we've shut down this year. You know what I mean? We've shut down Odell Beckham. Granted, Odell Beckham had that one big play, but other than that, he only had, 20 or like 35 yards or some shit like that, whatever. His long touchdown really was the only play he made last week. But the one game I was really surprised on was when we played Cincinnati. A.J. Green was targeted only 8 times, and A.J. Green only got 4 catches for 53 yards. And let me see here. I mean, Jordy Nelson had a bad game when we went up against the Packers in Lambeau. I mean, Nelson also had a lost fumble. We clamped down Stephon Diggs actually really well at Minnesota. Alshon Jeffrey had a bad game against Dallas back in week 3. And then, trying to think, who's the other star-stud receiver that we shut down? I'm trying to think here. I mean, it's funny because Jordan Matthews from Philadelphia has actually played against us really well. But anyway, my point being is, I said last week that Mike Evans, who just so happens to be one of the best young rising stars in the game right now at his position. And I said he could have either gone off for 300 yards or he could maybe go for 50. Only get 50 some odd yards. And today proved it, that it was one of those games. But obviously, the Buccaneers have a lot to look forward to in the future. They have a good quarterback. They have a good coach. They have a good receiver. They have a very good running back. Doug Martin, I think, is a top 10 running back when he's healthy. He just had the hamstring issue this year, but he'll come back next year, a stronger running back next year. I think he's going to be a good running back next year. Fully healthy, I think he'll have another 1,000-yard season. Mike Evans, I think, will have 1,000 yards next year. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Evans is over 1,000 yards now, but I don't know I don't know certain. And then Dez Bryant had a somewhat big game. He made big catches here and there. He definitely rebounded a week after. Let me say this. I gave him a lot of crap last week because of his non-existence in the passing game and his late fumble that basically sealed our fate. But Elliott just continues to keep stamping his mark. Elliott had a buck 51 rushing, 23 yards receiving. They also had a rushing touchdown. Dak Prescott was 32 of 36 for 280 and had a rushing touchdown himself. No turnovers. But the Dallas defense did its part. Dallas defense got 3 sacks. They got 3 interceptions. And they got, I think, 1 forced fumble, if not maybe 2. But all the turnovers by Tampa Bay were forced by Winston. Winston lost a fumble and then threw 3 interceptions. So, like I said, I like what our defense is doing. Our defense has been pretty solid all year, and I like it. But I have to say, next week, we have to play a little bit sharper, and we got to cut the penalties. But this was a good game by my Dallas Cowboys. This was a great game. This was a good way to rebound. We finally were coming home after we hadn't technically played at home in nearly a month. The last home game we played was back on Thanksgiving against the Washington Redskins. And we had that nail biter in Minnesota, and then we had the heartbreak last week at New York. Best way to get a rebound was to win this game at home for the Cowboys over the Buccaneers 26-20. Next week, Monday night, next week, at home against a very good Detroit Lions football team. That's a good football team over there in Detroit. They're a very well-coached, very well-mannered football team. They're good offensively. They're good defensively. They have a very good return specialist in Andre Roberts, the former Redskin and Cardinal. But I have to say this. The defense played the way they did tonight against Detroit. They win this game, even at home. But we can't count anything serious. Detroit is a very good team, and they will come in needing this game because the Packers, whether you know it or not, they're now breathing down the shirts of the Lions. And you got to remember, because the Packers beat them way back, and I do mean way back. They beat them, let's see here, what was that final? 34-27. They beat them 34-27 back at Lambeau Field in Week 3. But without question, Lions need to win this game to keep the Packers off their heels because the Packers will be at home to the Vikings Week 16. And the potentially winner-take-all game for the NFC North is in Detroit against Green Bay. So the Lions will be playing this game on prime time. We got to win against a very good football team. But we'll see how the week goes and bring on Detroit. How about them Cowboys? Go Cowboy Nation. This time I will throw up the X with authority. But Zeke, keep eating, my man. Keep eating. Go Cowboys. Bring on Detroit.